Hello, Anindita. Thank you so much for taking the opportunity, taking the time out to speak to me on in this internal communications series that I run on my blog. As you know, this is a series that I run to talk to thought leaders on the world of internal communications, how is evolving, what are some of the best practices. So thank you so much for taking the time. Before we get started, it'll be great if you could quickly introduce yourself for the benefit of our viewers.
Sure. First of all, thanks to you as well for giving me this platform, an opportunity to speak. And I hope even if a small percentage of what I say helps someone, I'm blessed. I'm happy. So I'm Anindita. I am heading the corporate communication for L&T Metro Rail Hyderabad Limited, based out of Hyderabad, of course. And I have over 30 years of professional journey, and I basically was an aviation professional throughout. I started my career with Kolkata Airport and then moved to Mumbai Airport, and first with Airports Authority of India, then with GVK Group. Of course, I got that opportunity to be the spokesperson for Mumbai Airport, which is now Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport. I'm very thankful to the promoters and, of course, the CEO there. And then I moved to Hyderabad to head the corporate communication for Hyderabad Airport, working with GMR Group. So after that, I moved to L&T Group, and presently, as I said. So the journey has been extremely exciting, and I think I'm the one of the fortunate ones who has the career of corporate communication, which is very dynamic, vibrant, and new every day.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's really great, and I like the variety of experience that you've had, and especially now the L&T metro side of things. I'm sure it's a very unique, organization and a unique space to work in. So let me begin by asking the first question: how do you define internal communication? What does it mean to you?
Well, I would say it is first and foremost, it's the happy face, engaged
Mhm.
face of any organization. So it's an integral part of any business, internal communication, and as it involves its most powerful assets who are employees, because without employees you cannot run any organization. For any organizations, employee can be the best brand ambassadors. This I feel personally. Unfortunately, many companies don't, but if you really go delve deep down, you'll find that they can be the best brand ambassadors for the company. And the internal communication manager or the officer has a huge role to play. The employees can positively impact the company's reputation through structured internal communication plan. An organization can develop a healthy culture within. See, it's not only running an organization, but building up a culture, which we say that stays, permanently. So, and this is, of course, for the better prospect. And as you know, information is knowledge, we all know. And transparency of information brings in confidence in people. So when I know what is exactly happening, what is the status of my company, so naturally the employee get huge confidence, and the performance level definitely increases. So hence, internal com is important in disseminating knowledge to employees on announcements, change in policies, employee engagement activities, overall health of the business. As you know, we should communicate, the internal communication officers. So with the help of intercom, a culture of solidarity and cohesiveness, this togetherness can be built in an organization. And collaboratively, yes, employees can work in line with the vision and mission and goals set by the management for whatever the desired result they want to. Every company has its different vision and missions, but it should be in line with that, the internal officer or
In fact, you covered the second question, which is basically, how does it get practice? You talked about some of the channels and the nuances. Is there any specific channel that comes to your mind that is very interesting and unique for your employees?
For our employees, well, L&T is known for its best practices, So when it comes to employees and their engagement, similarly here in this is an SPV of L&T. So the internal communication is given utmost importance in terms of regular communication. See, the consistency in communication is very important with the employees, just to being in touch. So regular communication, updates, announcement, newsletters, internet information on birthdays, other celebrations, personal wishes, town halls, long service always avoid retirement. I mean, these mostly are, with in every organization, and engaging employees qualitatively and physically also, and virtually also. And especially now, the virtual closeness has is very important. So focusing also strongly on the L&D, the learning and development, that curve should always, go up for employees. So that is very important. Of course, HR plays a very big role. So some organizations, it comes under corporate communication, and somewhere it is different. So I think it working hand in hand. So not only about our company, but about group activities and initiatives we keep on informing for operations related sector, where people need to put in their best efforts, where there is a demand, like operational assets like us. Even I worked in airports, so there is no excuse for any error. It should be a zero error operation. So one has to be super alert while on duty. So you have to be it has to be an engaged organization, a conducive, happy, a charged up environment when you work under a lot of mental stress, I would not really say, but mental alertness. So it is highly recommended that you keep them engaged. So most importantly, senior management people are absolutely accessible to all employees. This is something really, really very good in our organization. The door is always open, even to of our MD. Anyone can go and approach him. So it gives a sense of close connect between the employees and the senior man.
Fantastic. And if you could share an example or a campaign that you have personally worked on and you are really proud of, and what is the value and the impact that you all made with that?
Yeah, so we keep on doing the different campaigns hand in hand with HR, because I mean I head the corporate communication, so communication plays definitely a very integral role, very important role. But three, I would say, one is POSH, because as we know, it is mandatory in any organization. Absolutely zero tolerance for any sexual harassment, and organization POSH is taken very, very seriously. And I am also the presiding officer for IC committee, internal complaints committee. It was ICC earlier, now everywhere it's IC. So I'm the presiding officer. So my role also becomes very important. Disseminating messages to give a very safe environment for ladies to work. That please work comfortably, you are safe, and also women's safety. Women's safety, we do it in collaboration of police, Hyderabad police. Of course, Rachakonda is a district. We fall under the Rachakonda police, but overall Hyderabad police, we do it in collaboration with them. We have police has different apps installed. So we keep on disseminating those messages in our elevators and in many office places. The helpline numbers are displayed. The workshop sort of, the what to say, knowledge sharing session is happens with the employees. And we try to go to the even the contractual labors also, the housekeeping staff and everyone, whoever is working. And we actually, L&T Metro Hyderabad works with partners, like who operations, the French company who operations the maintains the operation. So they have lot many women staff. You would be very happy to know that around 30 to 40 loco pilots who drive the trains are ladies. So we have to be extra careful and caring about them working, because they work on shifts. So to also reaching the message out to them, it's a massive safety campaign and POSH campaign, which we do webinars telling them that these are the rights. Because see, knowing rights is something it lacks in individuals. So unless you know your rights, you don't get that confidence, you don't be empowered. Another, of course, for physical fitness, we have this IKEA. It's all related to sports, to keep people fit. So we encourage on fitness. So that is also, so these three campaigns are the highlights, I would say, amongst others.
That's very interesting, very unique, ways in which you're engaging. So, if I were to ask you, according to you, what's the biggest challenge you face while managing internal communications?
See, we are an employee-friendly organization. I think you must have got whatever I've spoke until now. Hence, fortunately, we do not face any challenge and such. But yes, since we work with partners, as I said, who collectively help in running HMR operations, so it's a mammoth task to reaching every ensure that every employee, irrespective of gender, they know, the internal stakeholders, they are engaged with us, because after all, it's a family.
Right.
So yeah, Hyderabad Metro Rail family. So this mobile workforce should be connected
Mm-hmm. Sure.
with the help of new technology and tools in general. Nowadays, of course, this virtual thing has helped a lot through mobile apps and all, through mobile messages and all. Everyone can, and today's date, everyone has smartphones. So one of the challenges to get employees participation in activities. I think it is typical of any organization. Whenever you hold a campaign or do some competition, getting people out of their cabin and making them get up from the chair is the biggest challenge for anyone, I think, in any organization. But here, fortunately, people are quite enthusiastic about all these things. So and also getting their contribution towards the newsletters, intranet, because it is their platform. We tell them that it is your platform, so it is your voice. You
Right.
voice what you want to say,
Right.
and one should not be stringent in rules and regulations in the name of quality. Here, we are fortunate not to do have that, but I have experiences when companies, they lay down too many stringent rules and regulations. So employees, they have some inhibition in writing something, posting something. So I think that comfortable the level of comfort should be communicated to them, that the exercise should be more
Right.
democratic. Involvement is very important to bridge gaps and connects, because that is all about internal communication. So creating an atmosphere where they feel free to share, speak, so make it very employee focused, which we do. And the internal communication manager should bring in the value add to the activities. It's just not a very plain, one sided. When it's a value add, so people receive it. So hence, in other words, then the entire exercise goes futile. So the communication should be strong and convincing also for people to read that, okay, I need to read this.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. So and leadership also plays a crucial role in internal communication. So messages should be top to bottom as well as lateral. I feel so. It should be across. So they should set an example for the teams, and so the effectiveness of internal com should be measured clinically. That, okay, you're just doing your activities and leaving it. So what is the, and we have to see the ROI also.
Right.
That whether how far it is, the investment has gone right, and so it should be measured clinically
Mm.
to get the desired result. So of course, feedback mechanism is very important. So otherwise, it doesn't really work. After a point of time, it fades away. So mostly it's a one-way communication, but it should be both ways.
Got it. Got it. Great. These are great points. And I think you covered also my next question about the biggest opportunity that you see in internal communication. But what I want to ask you is, how can internal communicators add more value to the business? What? Because usually they say that communication professionals don't get a seat at the table. They're not consulted enough. So what is your advice, or how do you think about that?
See, they should have that mindset of reaching to the grassroots level, and not only appeasing the senior management by posting interviews. So the unsung heroes should become, they should be, they should come forward. So they have to evolve as an individual in the long run. The internal communication manager, I think it's a very big role. We don't take it seriously, of course. So one should gain the trust of people in healthy organizations,
Right.
like us, I would say. So we should be proud that they're able to build a culture and develop talents and keep them qualitatively engaged and hone their skills also, imparting knowledge and making an atmosphere where it's a healthy, encouraging togetherness. And as I mentioned earlier, employees are most potential assets and best ambassadors. So a company grows into an organization or institution with the help of employees. Otherwise, it just remains a business and a company. You cannot develop it as an institution, an organization. It's a big term. So they are the foundation to any business. So that is the internal communication manager should understand the gravity of that role or position. So they are the foundation to any business. And this internal communication can play the role of a catalyst, an active agent to groom and shape the business, creating a strategic communication bond with the employees. So the com people are, I would say, if we go a little futuristic, they are the artists, and their communication methodology is, is the paints what they have. The palette is the facilitation or facilitating teams, and ultimately the canvas is the organization. So
Right.
that is how, that's a how they can add value. And the professionals should know the art of using the right shades and presenting a perfect and beautiful picture. End of the day, what do we see? If you go to an exhibition, we see the picture. Then if I'm an artist professional, then I go to see, okay, which paint, which type of paint. Otherwise, we just see the canvas. So that is where we can paint a picture. And of course, conveying a string of messages to his customers who are the employees. The productivity and service of the business also increases multifold by being, because it's an engaged organization, happy organization, and been proven that if it is and if they're happy employees, the productivity goes, especially for plants and manufacturing units and all. It's very, very important. Internal com people play a very, very important role. So when employees wish to stay, they wish to stay and grow up with the particular organization. As the organization grows, like for us, it's a new organization.
Yeah.
As we are taking steps out, we are growing, organization is growing. So it's because of its culture, strong foundation, healthy environment, safe environment, especially for women. So that's the healthy relationship. How you see the employees should feel an ownership about that organization. Then you develop, your output is from your heart,
Hmm.
not only mind but heart and mind both. So you get that ownership feeling. That is the role of internal com managers.
Fantastic. So if I were to ask you, if there are one or two skills that you think are, internal communicators must have or should develop, what would they be?
I think the first thing should be to be, we should talk about the humane angle. Because unless you are human, you don't understand an individual, you don't understand people at large, you don't understand the populace at large. And you have to be a very democratic, you have to have a democratic mindset first and foremost, knowing the right pitch to connect. It's not that what you feel right. No, you should know the right pitch and the appropriate pitch for the organization, what you need to communicate. Be a people's person. Self development and development interest of people, you should have it in mind, that how to develop. It's not only, I'm very sorry to say, many, I'll just give you a very small example quickly. There was one organization where I it was a head internal communication role, not copcom, only internal com. So when they gave the JD, I found that just a few mailers, newsletter, and celebrating birthday. So the basic concept was very wrong of internal communication. So that is something, be a people's person. So keeping in mind the knowledge, you should have the mind and knowledge window open. You should have the flair for writing business as well as feature, because it's a balance. It's a the what you write, it should have a business angle and a futuristic angle, and then the convergence happens. So sound knowledge of HR is also very important. I would say you're a HR person, because it is purely if of course, like purely com people like us, we should know how HR functions. Otherwise, there's always a clash, because you need to work hand in hand with the HR department. You should be cost effective. Don't give big budgets. You can do in small budgets also. Focus on operational areas, more balanced. You should have a balanced outlook towards business and employee interest, not only only employees or only the management, open to ideas, because otherwise it becomes a very lopsided communication. Very important, lastly, I would say control on self ego. If you have to have control on your self ego if you want to work on employee engagement and internal communication.
Got it. Got it. Very, very interesting points. If I were to ask you, I mean, there are a lot of youngsters who want to join communications or internal communications. So, what's your advice for them? What would you tell them about making a mark in their career?
Yeah, so I think my earlier response covered more or less a lot of it. First and foremost is think this function to be very important. That you have a very important role to play. Learn to wear the employee's hat. That is very important. You should do that. And however, and how of course, master, you have to master the art of striking a balance between the management and the requirement. Also, I'm sorry. and if you're a part of corp communication or corpcom department, uh, have a very healthy relationship with the hr. Mostly, there's always a conflict and fighting with each other with uh, disagreement. Fortunately here it's very good for us, we work on the same page, and one must learn and love teamwork. Teamwork is very important, that me factor, I factor, and working in silos,
Right.
that has to be worked on. You have to have a team, you have to be a team worker, and manage works, manage teams very deftly, and take all departments along the stride while planning communication. Whatever the departments are doing, it should be a very uh, uniform upliftment process, I would say. It's not only being biased towards one department. There are many departments who do a lot of hard work, operations and all, but there are very unsung departments. So it is your responsibility to be very impartial
Right.
without any bias. And
Mm.
it makes one involved as a human being and professional both. This profession, trust me, it makes you a better individual and a professional. That's the beauty of internal communication. Then scope of experiment is there, utilize that. Opportunity for creativity is there, exploring new tools remains. Depends how active, agile, innovative, and enthusiastic the internal com person is. It all, of course, it depends on that as well.
Great. And related to that, I mean, you're a woman leader, and you also, like you mentioned, you're part of the POSH committee and all that. I mean, what's your advice for women who want to make a mark and want to do things differently? How would you advise?
Uh, See, for me, I think as a professional, gender bias should not be considered. Nevertheless, I think the qualities and traits required for internal com professionals are fortunately inherent and ingrained in women. That's
Yeah.
my personal view. Don't take me otherwise. So they are more humane in nature. Now, please don't counter me saying, "Hey, we are also human. Y'all are also." But certain things are, the softer side of human nature is there in women. I think that is the key to success, and they connect from their heart, which is very, very important. They understand the other side, people sitting at the other side of the table. So however, they must keep their practical insights live too, as EQ definitely plays an important role in today's date. We all know, for any functioning. But yes, the IQ factor should also be taken into account, and they should encash their potential, instinct, the natural innate thing which they have, and they should encash that. Women, I'm talking about, they're more creative. It is proven. You can't argue on that. So more creative. I'm not saying creative only, but more creative. So, however, not taking advantage of gender for sure. That is something you should have a thin line of difference of, having the opportunity to be a woman for this role, and not taking advantage of your gender for sure. So there should be a balanced approach.
And now with COVID-19 happening and all this, so there are a lot of crises which internal communication needs to manage. So what has changed according to you? How will we see internal communications evolve in the future?
Well, I mean, in general or for our organization?
In general, what do you see as a trend?
We're talking about this COVID, basically, the crisis which we face, this present crisis.
Correct.
Okay, so well, I think more of virtual closeness. It will evolve for sure, but now, people. Maybe we all, of course, earlier also these VCs and all used to happen, but we never thought we'll take it so actively. Though it's as the physical and social distancing is happening, I think more of virtual closeness is happening. So this way it will definitely evolve and develop for sure. I must say here how how we managed the crisis of when internal comcom is concerned. Our HR did a brilliant role, of course, by taking care of the employees to any extent, trust me. So being regularly in touch with them. See, I think that being in touch with employees, that connect has increased more for sure, maybe because of the virtual things, and we know that we have to keep them engaged. So this has definitely engaged. So I think these virtual platforms are helping in being more connected with people. We are becoming a people's atmosphere is becoming very people's atmosphere. That's very nice. And of course, regular mailers, medical facilities, I'm just talking about our organization. So virtual team meetings, I personally saw that we I think in if we I know I may have missed every week meeting at times because of work pressure, but during the lockdown I made sure that I had those meetings even twice a week, just to be in touch with them, to know them whether they are okay. So to keep, and in this COVID, trust me, we kept an environment of serious work through the work from home system, of course, to keep them engaged. Then we had, around 33 plus webinars, then interactive training programs, comprehensive reports, articles shared. We had a virtual team town hall meeting also. It was due, but we thought that we'll postpone, but things are certain. It was very uncertain when lockdown is going to get over. So we thought, no, well, let us explore and utilize the virtual platform. So we had that induction programs happened, sharing of special moments. We every cloud has a silver lining. So what is yours? And we wanted them to say what they're doing at home, and people were very enthusiastic. They were posting pictures of what they were doing at home and how they were keeping themselves engaged. And of course, COVID Pathshala happened to teach on immunity and all that medical stuff. We have our doctors also. So then employees were who retired during the lockdown, they were given the long service awards, preparation and finalizations of SOPs, which were on work resumption, that we knew that okay, some very soon we are going to resume work. And we are working since I think May 8th. So those things were in process. Then hygiene, safety, predominantly in office premise, so that people feel safe to come. So continuously monitoring, helping employees, if I mean, so that they don't suffer in just in case they are tested positive. So basically what I want to say is, the human connect, the thinking over the welfare, then to make them feel that we are there for you and we need you. They employees, give them a feeling that, hey, we need you. Without you, the company doesn't cannot function. So these, though it happened, I think we took certain things for granted. I think any organization. So this happened, I think, more when we went disconnected. The connect happened more when we were disconnected. I would put it in this way.
Nice. And as we wrap up, if there is any one aspect, I mean, you worked in so many years, over your years of experience, is there one aspect of internal communications that you would like to change or do differently? What would that be?
First of all, as I really feel the companies and the internal com leaders both should take this vertical seriously, at it, as it can be a game changer for an organization one day. They have to seep in that idea. They just should not take it just part of any duty, any job. It is, I think it's sort of a role of a mother, who has at home, who's at home, who helps in keeping the bond, the strong bond she creates for the entire family. So they should take this very seriously, the companies and the internal com managers. Fortunately, especially in India, unfortunately, it is considered to be just a facilitating department or just a cost center. So they still the the intangible quote unquote revenue benefits it can bring into the company is unmeasurable, and can turn the table positively by motivating employees to believe how important they are to the business, especially when we have crossed this disaster, this unprecedented times. I think it taught us to be really together. The social distancing happened, but the sense of being together, these are the intercom are the greatest contributors to it. So makes one feel proud, and the the manager, they should prove themselves to that extent that the company in turns take them very seriously. So this change in mindset, I would say, can really take this vertical notches higher.
Fantastic. I mean, this has been brilliant, great insights, very enriching. Thank you so much, Anindita, for doing this interview and sharing your thoughts. I'm sure it's extremely valuable for our viewers.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anish. So thanks once again. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.